Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second session of Berytech Online Meetups. Berytech Online Meetups are powered by GIST, the Global Innovation in Science and Technology Initiative funded by US State of Department. And today we are discussing the food security. We have 4 sessions that tackle the 4 pillars of food security, and today's session is about the utilization pillar of food security. We have with us today, in non-particular order, Rina Halla, Retail Associate at United Nations World Food Program Lebanon, Fidel Ashar, co-founder of Foodsight, a startup of agri-tech batch 3 program. We have Soha Nasser, our agri-tech in-house specialist, and we have Makram Bunassar, BDL executive and a lecturer in various universities, among them AUB, on agriculture and entrepreneurship. Throughout those 90 minutes, we will hear an introduction by Ms. Soha about the aspects of food security, the utilization pillar, and how we can launch new businesses and new startups that helps provide a security net for our population when it comes to food supply and ensuring that our population has proper nutrients and proper calories intake regardless of their socioeconomic class. We will have also a short presentation by Fidel about Foodsight and her journey with us in agri-tech. And we will open the floor for the panel discussions throughout the rest of the session. Without further ado, I want to introduce my colleague, Soha Nasser.
Thank you, Zahid. Good afternoon. Let me first share. I hope you are able to see my screen. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. We started last week with our first session, and last week I started my introduction with the big question of food security. How we feed 9 billion people by 2050. All the world, through UN programs and organizations, is addressing this main question. And all these organizations are present and active in Lebanon, especially lately. Because in Lebanon today, we don't have this luxury to look 30 years ahead. Our main concern is to ensure food to our 6 to 7 million population in the coming years in a sustainable way. And this worry is exactly what we call food insecurity. So let me start by the definition. Food security, as per the World Food Summit, exists when people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. So to simplify things and simply stating, we are food secure when every one of us have access to available, nutritious, and safe food in a stable way. So availability, access, utilization, and stability are the 4 main pillars of food security. After tackling the stability pillar in our first session, we will focus today, as Zahi already stated, on the utilization pillar. Usually, people get confused when hearing utilization. They associate it immediately to nutrition, which is true. Utilization focuses on nutrition, but it also includes food storage, processing, health, and sanitation. Another definition, USAID defined the food utilization as follows. It is when food is properly used, proper food processing and storage techniques are employed, adequate knowledge of nutrition and childcare techniques exists and is applied, and finally, adequate health and sanitation services exist. I will take them each part aside. When we talk about a proper use of food, we are talking about our practices when we prepare and cook the food and how we preserve its nutrients. For the food and for the proper food processing and storage techniques, you can't consider a food as nutritious if it is not safe, well processed, and well stored. Another very important point is the knowledge of nutrition and childcare techniques. I don't want to spread the negativity in this beautiful evening, but I have to tell you some hard facts. Poor nutrition is responsible for nearly 60% of child deaths in the world. Add to it, as per the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020 report, an estimated 2 billion people in the world did not have regular access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food in 2019. A primary assessment suggests that due to COVID-19 pandemic may add between 83 and 132 million people to the total number of unnourished in the world in 2020. Such huge numbers. And finally, food safety plays a major role in effective food utilization, as the consumption of unsafe food or water can significantly intensify malnutrition. And for sure, I don't need to tell you how many food safety issues were raised by media and ministries in the passing years in Lebanon. But let me be fair, if I want to focus on this point. Let me clarify that producers usually don't choose to produce unsafe products, but the cost of compliance is often a challenge for small-scale producers, and safe food that is monitored costs more. And when safety is not compromised for the sake of the cost, it makes the safe product less accessible for poorer consumers. So what is happening in Lebanon now and why this pillar is at stake? Due to the economic crisis, the household income decreased drastically during this year. A FAO study on the dietary patterns according to levels of income found that diet quality worsened with the increasing severity of food insecurity due to the lower income. So people rely more on cereals only and use less meat. Add to it that we may not be able to import a variety of our food needs soon, and we will not have enough arable lands to produce our own food. And we are wasting up to 30% of our food, all of which will affect our nutritious intake and on what we rely to get our calorific needs. To change this direction, we should look at the economic crisis as an incentive to shift our mindset from conventional agriculture and food processing practices to smart agri and food tech. Today, we need to look more at our practices from a smart perspective to ensure enough nutritious food and enforce the fusion between agri-food and technology. In the world of digitalization, we need to consider this sector as our really pure first opportunity to improve our economy. So what we need to produce a variety of food that fits our nutritional needs and to smartly control and improve our processing and storage techniques and to share and enhance our nutritious knowledge, which we do well, but we have to enforce it. And for sure, we need to procure the right combination of food for a healthier diet, and we highly need to reduce our food waste. And this is exactly where we need this joint effort between the agri-food masters and the tech minds as one innovative task force. So let's use our imagination and imagine some technologies that can substitute an imported food to secure a healthy, nutritious intake, or maybe to transfer some nutritional and childcare knowledge to households and help them reduce their waste of food. Maybe to collect and track data and have more visibility on this matter. Why not technologies that can help small and medium enterprise to optimize their food safety practices without compromising their cost? or help them to maintain their cold chain to ensure products' food safety and minimize waste. Or maybe simply as simple as new types of food that can give the right nutritious nutrients to unnourished people in the region. I am talking about all these challenges to highlight the change innovation and the creativity can make. And now I will leave you with this infinity of potential combinations between, let's say, active and smart packaging with food safety and cold chain monitoring, or maybe robotics and all kinds of optimization that we can do, or on waste management maybe, all the data collection and AI that can help in analyzing it, or even platforms that help in transferring and sharing knowledge. All these ideas and much more will help in preventing malnutrition and ensuring a better utilization of food in our country than in our region, and we will be eventually collaborating to the global effort of food security on the long run, and hopefully helping the world in its ultimate mission. Now, please join me and Berytech in this unstoppable work to create the change in the agri-food sector for a better food secure future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Soha. Thank you for the insightful introduction. Can you please stop sharing your screen?
Yes, sure.
And now we move to one of our entrepreneurs that are making this bridge between the realm of agri-food sectors and high technology and advanced innovative solutions. We have with us Fidel Ashar from Foodsight. Can you please start sharing your screen and tell us more about Foodsight and about your journey in creating this amazing startup and helping local SMEs adhere to food safety procedures?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you, Zahi, for the intro. Okay, so now I believe you can see my screen. So, food is seen as a basic human right, and that 1 in 9 people globally experience chronic hunger. The utilization pillar of food security addresses not only how much food the people eat, but also what and how they eat. It requires a healthy physical environment and covers the food preparation, storage and distribution processes, water and sanitation, and healthcare practices. Food security and food safety are both aimed to help and promote health, which goes along with technology. In the GCC and MENA regions, although several countries have taken steps to upgrade their food safety systems, the capacity and efficiency of many countries still need to be enhanced in order to assure an adequate surveillance of local produced and imported food, as well as to demonstrate compliance with food standards in export markets. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic hit the food industry with many challenges. It came to remind businesses now more than ever of the need to integrate technology and remote work into their schedules, and of the importance of complying with food safety and quality requirements. The Lebanese food industry specifically is struggling to deal with the challenges of the financial crisis. In fact, the food industry stakeholders now face several problems. They are looking to improve their market positioning and become more competitive in terms of food safety and quality standards to have more chances in export markets. So they are looking for more export opportunities, but struggle to know how to meet the requirements. They now also find it harder to access fast and easy the proper information, and they need consultants who could make custom solutions and standardization for their sector without taking all of their time. Now, what can the private sector do to support these food businesses in adapting sustainable food systems? There are many actions we can take. Support small enterprises, promote food safety, provide a good working condition, share technologies, share knowledge, and many others. On these 5 bases, Foodsight aims to act. We created an online platform that helps small and medium-sized food businesses overcome their food safety challenges by connecting them to freelance professionals who come from multiple backgrounds and have diversified expertise in order to tackle their most pressing challenges in terms of food safety, quality, and export readiness. Our journey started back in 2019. We, the founders, found many gaps in the agri-food sector. Based on our experience in the F&B industry and our social engagement, we thought of an innovative solution to fill these gaps. In April 2019, we represented Lebanon in the Italian ThinkMed competition. Participating in the AgriTech Hackathon back in August 2019 with all its success was a short, challenging experience that made us want to further explore our idea with all its opportunities, leading to building a successful business. Being accepted into Berytech's AgriTech Accelerator program was a joy. We were prepared for serious work and commitment, but we did not imagine at first the huge success we now reached, nor that the road would be as challenging and tough as it has been. Starting phase one of the program in October 2019, in parallel with the Lebanese revolution, was a push for us since we believe that change is needed and it starts with each one of us building solutions answering the current problems. During the first 2 months, we were able to have a deeper look into the market, the pain points of the food chain stakeholders and their needs, and to validate our idea and build a prototype. The high interest we received made us work even harder during phase two. The economic crisis did affect the market level of responsiveness, but despite that, the lockdown gave us more time to better shape our idea in response to the COVID-19 pandemic as well, which stressed the need for our platform now more than before. Revisiting our business and revenue models, performing deeper market validation, testing and getting feedback from users on so many levels and at different stages, drawing our startups forecast, sales and go-to-market strategies, while developing our MVP and launching our marketing attraction campaigns. These were amongst the multiple activities we were able to accomplish during this 5 months phase. The Beirut blast was something out of the ordinary and not something we were able to cope with as fast as we had to during all the previous problems faced. All the struggles we faced during these times did not affect our level of our dedication and insistence on pursuing this bumpy journey. This because we still believe that our solution will disrupt the way food safety is tackled in the region, create business opportunities, and have a strong social impact. Now, my entrepreneurial experience was not easy, juggling between a full-time job and many humanitarian and social engagement. It was multitasking at its best. Launching a new business in the best of times is a lonely hustle. And how about kicking off this venture during the toughest of times in the midst of chaos and crisis? Many friends and family members questioned my insistent commitment and capability of pulling this off. So I had to make sure to always work the extra mile to make things happen, keep on pushing through, especially in response to the high market demand and based on our passion and dedication to be part of the agri-food revolution. This applies as well to the co-founder, Natalie, who did not quit after a failure in her first entrepreneurial experience last year, but instead she kept on exploring ways to lift her entrepreneurial spirit and to be part of the change. So the hustle was real and tough, especially as two women in tech managing a software startup with no prior experience in software development. But while our backgrounds fit in more business development, food technology, consultancy, franchising, and marketing. Fortunately, the team we were working with and the AgriTech program team and mentors were highly supportive. We wanted our journey to be interesting, so we can motivate young people and encourage women to believe in their abilities, work on growing their skills, and become achievers, most importantly. Our hard work paid off at the end. A few of the summer accomplishments include our participation this August in the Step Anywhere first virtual conference and being selected within the top pitching startups. Our selection this month, as well as between the top 5 regional finalists in 2 global competitions, the Future Agri-Food Challenge and Seed Stars, in preparation for the world competitions that will happen in 2021. Today, after 1 year since we started with our idea, Foodside is a launched business, and our platform is up and running online with 200 registered users between manufacturers and multinational experts and 5 customers on board. We have partnered with Mefosa, and last, we also received support from the Ministry of Industry, the Food Safety Lebanese Committee, the Chambers of Commerce in Beirut and Bekaa, IDAL, Food Cluster, and many universities. After initially reaching around 1,000 Lebanese F&B stakeholders between farmers, manufacturers, and restaurant owners, we recently launched a survey discussing the position of the food industry after the COVID-19 pandemic and all what's happening in the region. 90% of the feedback was received from SMEs, food production companies, out of which 80% export their food products mostly to GCC and MENA countries. More than 85% of the agri-food companies in Lebanon are considered as SMEs and require high professional support to compete and reach greater opportunities within the region, hence choosing this segment as our first target market. Using the latest online technology tools, this one-stop shop platform will provide the food businesses with affordable consultancy project packages, as well as access to an online library of regulatory documents through a B2B premium model. With Foodsight, the food business owners will be able to enhance the quality of their food products, improve their business standards, and increase their revenues. All that by reducing rejections and complaints by 80%, reducing wasted time and effort by 60%, and increasing productivity by 70%. All that in an easy, convenient, and cost-effective way compared to current alternatives, while creating more job opportunities for industry experts. The platform is accessible on mobile or desktop. All the business owners have to do to request a service. They will have only to create their account and submit the request to be able to work on their project with a chosen expert, where payment will be milestone-based. And they can also browse through the online library and download the regulation or documents specific to their sector for free. For the experts, after creating their account, they will receive a notification of an assigned project. They will have to fill an offer, including timeline and cost. And once their proposal is approved by the client, they can proceed with the project deliverables based on the agreement. The full process until the completion of the project is fully performed online. Now we might assist the client with on-site visits based on the project category and in case the process requires that. Our current objectives are to further develop our product, onboard additional customers in Lebanon, while studying deeply the GCC and MENA markets for more opportunities there. Going back to the food security utilization pillar, the importance of food safety and putting technology in their service. This is precisely what Foodsight was created for. But technology cannot stand alone in the way of implementation. It also requires equal involvement of the food industry, law enforcement, the legal system, consumer forums, and all tangible authorities involved at every level. So this might be a good start for our panelists to initiate our discussion. Thank you, everyone. Zahi, I will give the floor back to you to introduce our speakers.
Thank you, Fidel. I'm super proud of you. For all of you who don't know me, I work on the accelerators of Berytech, Cleanergy, and Agritech. And with Fidel and the other 7 startups that managed to get through phase 3, the final phase of our Agritech batch 3, we've been through lot of ups and downs and lots of unprecedented events. So I want to iterate again how much I'm proud of you, Fidel, and the amazing progress of Foodsight throughout those 7-8 months. You can also have your own entrepreneurial journey with us, just like Fidel has started in a hackathon organized by Berytech. You can join our next hackathon that we are organizing along with Renee Mawad Foundation. You can find the link in the chat. Along with RMF, we are planning a hackathon that tackles several key issues of the food security challenges in MENA region, and you can learn more through this link below. Now, before we jump to our panel, let me share a few of the questions that we have received so far on the link, the Slido link. For any one of you who want to pose more questions, you can find the link in chat. So without further ado, let's start with the first one. I think this one is for Soha. So Soha, are the water issues related more to irrigation or hygiene?
No, actually, what I mentioned was related to hygiene. When considering food security and the food safety part and utilization, we are talking about the hygiene of water and its consumption. So this is what exactly we meant in this matter.
Okay. Another question, I think it's also for you, Soha. So how can we actually sell and make money while selling to people that are poor, or let's put it in a more decent term, that are losing their purchasing power?
Definitely, if I want to take in terms of market now, the availability is the name of the game, especially in Lebanon. But there is always traditional and let's say national products that can be produced with the lower cost and with a proper and good manner to give anyone in Lebanon with any kind of income the food and nutritious intake they need. So we can always find food that suits anyone with lower costs if we look into our national resources.
Okay. Next, we have a question for Fidel. So how can we actually trust local products when it comes to food safety with all the economic and financial difficulties that Lebanese SMEs face?
Okay, so the food companies usually work on a daily basis to keep the consumers' trust at all times. Especially in the midst of crisis and when things are not very stable. Usually they are working on maintaining their food safety systems and the quality monitoring procedures over their production lines and over the whole processing and steps they are following to make sure that they are producing the safe food of good quality, that the consumer will keep on purchasing this product.
Okay. We have another question also from a university professor. He's asking how can he introduce his students to your platform?
Amazing. So actually, we have reached many universities. Through them, we were connected to many alumni and grads that were working or have worked or have studied anything related to the agri-food sector. So definitely they can go to the platform www.food-site.com and they can create an account and fill their details based on their background and expertise. And definitely we can discuss with you, Professor, I guess Dr. Jean, we can discuss further how we can collaborate.
Amazing. Can you please share the link in the chat? Make sure you have the option to all panelists and attendees so everyone can have the link. Thank you. Without further ado, I will ask Dr. Makram and Ms. Rina to also open your camera and your audio. And Fidel, can you please also share, open your video and your audio to kickstart the panel discussion. So I will have the first question to Ms. Rina Halla. Can you please share with us what does your title or your job entails in the World Food Program? So what does the retail associate do, and what are the responsibilities of the retail department?
Good evening, everyone. I work within the retail unit, as you mentioned. So the retail is very new to WFP. It started in 2016 when WFP was, increasing the cash-based transfer. There was a move to leverage the cash-based transfer, and then the management decided to invest in, initiating this unit within the organization. So the objective of the retail within WFP is to, increase the purchasing power of the beneficiaries, of the people who are assessing, to leverage the power of data we are collecting through the contract we have with the shops. And the third is to improve competition, and then have like a perfect coverage where, depending on the beneficiary's residence. So the strategy of retail, since it started, focused on building or strengthening the capacity of these retailers. WFP has always thought of these retailers as our partners, and then they wanted to give them the advantage of the retail expertise that were brought in from international markets and then locally as well. So there were like some training materials that were developed, and these materials included aspects of, starting from the quality, the basics of having a retail shop. What are the basics, the quality, the hygiene, the food safety, and then all the best practices in the retail industry that we are expecting these shops to have, and how we are helping them to reach to that point. So this is in a nutshell what we do as a retail unit in WFP.
Thank you. And throughout this panel discussion, we will expand on the opportunities and challenges that you have come across with your work in the retail unit. For Professor Makram Bunassar, please tell us more about your experience in teaching entrepreneurship in agriculture to Lebanese university students, especially AUB, FAFS students, and what is the main aspect that any entrepreneur venturing into the agri-food sector should focus on? You are on mute, Professor Makram. Can you please unmute?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and I'm glad to participate in this webinar, and thank you for organizing it. In fact, I teach at AUB since many years, and at FAFS and economics. I think there are a lot of opportunities for agribusiness students who work on projects related to the agri-food industry, and they are coming up with creative ideas, and I am mentoring these ideas and discussing opportunities and challenges that new entrepreneurs will face. Some students succeeded in turning their ideas into real business, and others, they went to work in already established companies. I think the main idea, the main issue that any entrepreneur should focus on is creativity, looking into the market needs and how he can use the available technologies, research, to come up with the new ideas that serve the customers and the market. And food safety is one of them, of course. Thank you.
So building on this specific answer, Fidel, can you share with us some aspects of your journey in figuring out what exactly is the value that your customers are searching for, and how they prefer to transact with you and with the experts that they are on your platform? What were the key aha moments that you've passed through? What were the key learnings that shaped, let's say, 6 months or 1 year of unnecessary mistakes that you were able to avoid while you're working on validating your business model?
Yes, So first, when we started with our idea, we had like assumptions based on our experience in this sector. But definitely it wasn't about what we think these businesses need. It was more about how they behave, what are their pain points on a daily basis, what they lack exactly. So we went through a lot of interviews, in person, online, especially after COVID, surveys, users testing sessions to make sure that we are listening to them. We know what they need exactly. And on this basis, we were able to build the solution and a better way to answer their needs. So basically, we saw that there is a cycle, but it's not completed, and everyone is working alone and not sharing the right information. The procedures and all the know-how is not yet very accessible easily for the food businesses. So we created this platform to provide a free access for now to an online library that is accessible easily by one click. And at the same time, we saw that usually, as Saha mentioned in the intro, the cost of compliance is not cheap. So usually food businesses do not work on food safety activities or operations because they think that it's expensive. But this is why FoodSite is here to tell them that you need to implement food safety measures, but at the same time, this can be cheap and not very expensive. And you don't have to work on a specific contract for a limited period of time with people you don't trust. So you have a large pool of experts that have diversified experiences that they are one request away, and they can help you in any request you need on a daily basis or on a project basis.
Thank you. So as you have mentioned, and Soha also mentioned as well, compliance is not cheap, and it might be tricky in terms of the operations for the producers, let alone the retailers. So Rina, can you please tell us some of your insights while working in the retail unit about how we can leverage technology to help retailers, especially retailers and users that doesn't have technology literacy, and even might not have any literacy. They might be out of school at very small age, and they can barely use their cell phone. So what were your insights in terms of how users interact with your tools, and how we can make adherence to food safety and the insurance that the food is nutritious and safe to consume?
So let me start first by giving like a scale of the WFP retail network. So we have currently around 480 shops, contracted shops. And within this portfolio, it ranges from the very small, a typical grocery shop, up to the very large chains that are very well known in Lebanon. So the capacity of each shop is dependent on their size and then the location. We found out that there is a huge disparity between the standards between shops located, let's say, in Beirut versus shops located in Akkar. And in most cases, these small shops are mostly family owned. They are passed down through, generations. The ownership or the way they are running the business is coming from, day-to-day need, rather than this is a business that we need to develop and work on and improve. Starting from that point, I think the owners of these shops are typically seniors. So to begin with, they don't have the computer literacy, or they're not aware of the technological advancement in the market. It's very challenging even to introduce any tool, or then or work with them on any initiative, because in their mind they have been doing this business, let's say, for 20-30 years. So it's very difficult to shift their mindset from one level to the other. So this is one of the key challenges when we are discussing technological advancement. We understand at WFP, after 4 or 5 years of working with the retail, the importance of data, the importance of the information we are collecting, and the tools that are being developed that are aimed into understanding the purchasing trend of our beneficiaries, what is the market needs, the trends in the market. So, and then we have this amazing tool that are wasted opportunities for these retailers, simply because they are not in that mindset where they need to shift the way they are viewing this business, especially now, given this economic crisis. Technology can play a very huge and important role, because as it was mentioned earlier, availability is the game. During this time, there's not much clarity or transparency related to prices or availability. So having a tool that will show you the prices levels at different shops, where are the items are available. Additionally, it will allow you to observe the new trends. So let's say the alternative items. So the demand of items is changing from a branded need into the basic need. So we have a need, we have to satisfy it. If it's not with that brand that is disappearing, then we need to find alternative. So I think the market is shifting and adapting to this economic crisis. And then what we need to be doing is, studying these trends and then developing a tool that will enable these small businesses, in most cases, to be more sustainable, to listen to the market and then adapt accordingly. So this is like the key challenge when it comes to our part of our retailers. We at WFP have developed so many tools. One of them is the Lily app, which does exactly that. It's like it shows you the availability of items throughout the contract shops, and then the prices. It's giving these retailers the platform to compete openly, and then we are securing these customers. But again, we are faced with the same challenge. If the retailers are not seeing this as an opportunity for them to use it, then we will end up with an underutilized tool. So this is, this is the key challenge in that context. And this is all.
Yes, so to have a high-level summary, the challenges falls around several big themes. One theme is how the donors could actually leverage the data to make better decisions and better allocation of the resources. Another big theme could be how the beneficiaries are interacting with digital solutions. Another big theme could be how to entice family-owned businesses and small businesses to have more economic aspirations and have more attainable roadmap that they could follow. On this note, I want to ask Dr. Makram, what are the key impediments that delay entrepreneurs that you teach in universities in tackling these issues? So is it lack of funding? Is it lack of proper network or pool of acquaintances that are in technological fields? Is it lack of mindset, or is it bureaucracy, or is it all of the above?
Thank you, Zahi, for this important question. I believe it's not the lack of mindset nor the lack of talents and know-how. it can be the others that you have mentioned. I believe first the situation that we are living in, the economic crisis, what was going on in Lebanon in the past year and more, I think they all affected entrepreneurs, SMEs, and of course large businesses. And we are seeing now brands of not only in the food market leaving Lebanon, closing their shops. However, we still hope with the Lebanese youth, with the Lebanese entrepreneurs and Lebanese minds that we will move into a better future, and hope this period will not be long. It will be short. To answer you regarding funding, the central bank, as I'm an executive director, as you mentioned, at BDL, at the Central Bank of Lebanon, we had since many years subsidized and supported SMEs and startups through different programs with the subsidized interest rates. We also supported new businesses related to the knowledge economy, IT, etc., including, of course, agriculture and industrial sector. These measures taken by the central bank did not stop. However, banks, because of the problem, they are now reduced their loans. They need their liquidity for other purposes at this time. As we know, all people are running for banks and asking for their cash money, or at least part of it. However, we are planning for new, let's say, ways of lending using even fresh dollars. Despite all the bad situation that we are in, money is still coming into Lebanon in different ways, although not as much as before. And this money, this fresh money coming to the banks, not all of it are being withdrawn. Some of it is remaining in the banks, and banks can provide this fresh money as loans at a later stage. So we expect the market and banks to start lending again with the subsidies, even with more subsidies. Already the interest rate is very low now, to SMEs and startups, to support them implement their ideas and expand their businesses. One of the things that I would like to mention here is that the central bank and recently gave licenses regarding digital payments, and already one application is live, the other is in process. And I don't want to market them specifically, but it's worth mentioning that the first one is Zaki by Ariba company, Zaki, Zaky. The other is PinPay. By the way, PinPay is one of the startups. It was acquired by Audi, and PinPay is introducing a digital mobile payment app, instant payment app called Hawili. And those two apps, one of them is live, the other will be live very soon. And I would like here to know, to inform the entrepreneurs and in the agri-food industry and other sectors, that now they have a new, secure, simple, cost-effective way of receiving payments instantly from their customers, or virtually, without being in direct contact, without the need of any POS. All that you need is your mobile. You download the application. You take 24 hours before your application is approved by the company, because they have to do a compliance check. After that, you can register as a business, as a startup. And this, when you are registered as a startup, you can receive more money than an individual. You just provide one document that you're already existing as a business, your ID, and then anyone who has this application can pay you money immediately, instantly, at very low cost. The cost is less than 0.5%. So if you're paying $100, you pay $0.5 for the transaction. I think this will facilitate business, especially in the days of Corona, where direct contact is not recommended, and you can sell your products easily and in a very and you can receive the money at very low cost, as I said, and it's very simple. You download the app, you can be a bank customer, you can use your card. If you are unbanked, you can receive your money on mobile wallet. So it's worth looking into this new technology and new way of receiving and paying money in Lebanon that is highly secure without the need of cash, without the need of POS, and it will help a lot, I think, startups in Lebanon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Makram. So my next question is for Ghena, building on these insights by Dr. Makram. So there is a new arena or new opportunities for people to finance micro endeavors and micro businesses when it comes to producing agriculture and consumer goods. Based on your experience with dealing with cash and cards, debit cards, let's put it this way, what could be the main pitfalls for people that are using these cards, or for businesses that could introduce similar systems? Given that now with the current situation, we have many people that are falling from the middle class to the poor class, and they are actually technology literate.
So I think we go back to the literacy of the people we are targeting with these tools. So we're talking about beneficiaries. And I don't have the exact figures, but I know the majority of these beneficiaries are mostly not literate when it comes to using technological or smartphones. So I don't know the degree or extent, the extent that they will accept such tools. This is number one. Number two, the way WFP transfers the cash, or specifically the assistance that comes through the retail networks. So the main affected or the main people to be targeted with these tools are the shopkeepers, because they are the end receivers of this cash. And you know, I want to go back to what Dr. Makram was saying about the withdrawal is the biggest challenges we have. So I think the core idea behind retail is cash flow. It's depending on cash flow. And with this restriction imposed by the central bank, it is like number one challenge we are facing right now. With the suppliers that are, you know, rejecting any digitalized or checks or any payments that is not cash, limiting the options for the retailers where they have to provide cash to do their transaction and or in order to buy their food items and stock their shops. So this is the main challenges. I think the opportunity here, if we can have these shopkeepers accept these tools, provided that the suppliers, on the other hand, should, you know, accept also that payment, because it's a business transaction. Both parties should accept the payment terms, and this is a challenge for WFP. I think in the coming, I don't know, a period of time, I expect it to be escalated. And I really don't know if there is any tool, any technological tool that will help us achieve that, because if it happened, then it will be a great breakthrough for us, for these shopkeepers. And then it's a good opportunity, I mean, for everyone.
Yes, we look for such challenges to become the opportunities that we can nurture startups to tackle and to generate employment and generate money for the Lebanese economy. So on that note, Suha, can you tell us more how can startups
Mr. Zahi, but can I,
yes.
sorry to interrupt you, can I just reply to one issue that Mrs. Ghina mentioned that I would like to,
yes, of course,
to clarify? Sorry,
yes, of course.
sorry,
No worries,
Ms.
no worries. Please.
Madam Ghina mentioned that the central bank is restricting liquidity and cash. In fact, this issue was clarified, and the money in the market in circulation increased by 450% since last year. So we provided the market with 450% more liquidity. And there was an issue a few weeks ago or a few days ago. It was settled with the banks and clarified, and it will not affect the customers. But I want to tell you that as I manage the payment systems and I'm in direct contact with Mr. Abdullah Al-Wardat, the number of checks is going up and the value of checks is going up, not down. And the use of cards, yes, it has dropped because there is more like interest in cash. However, with these new mobile payment instruments, we are planning with the WFP. There was like a big discussion that the subsidies that will be provided to low-income families can be via cards, where we will set 50% as allowed as cash, and 50% they have to use it at shops. And now there are companies that are providing POS for free or with very low cost, or providing new machines where they can just use the QR code. And with the QR code, you don't need to have cost for payments. And the QR code technology, which is one known, you scan your bill and you pay it directly in the shop, or you can use the card or the mobile. And because we don't want to encourage the use of cash anymore, we want to try to create trust in the technologies. It may take some time, but I think we are moving, and hope with the new government we will move further into better place. Thank you.
So within this context, so can you tell us more how startups can leverage these new movements by big players such as World Food Program and BDL to shorten the supply chain, to make sure that the vulnerable parts of our society, the vulnerable people or the low-income people, have nutritious food that tackles all the required macronutrients and calories intake?
Sure. If I want to start with a global view, and let me start by saying that Berytech, for the 3 first batches, focused on innovation in general, for the sake of innovation, really, with beautiful ideas. This year, and because we are really feeling the heat of the situation and we are feeling the responsibility toward our country, we are a little bit changing our approach. So instead of calling for innovation in general, we are this time calling for innovations that will solve challenges. So you may have seen this picture of people pushing cubes, and one of them pushing a ball, and under it it's written, "Work smart, not hard." So this is exactly what we are pushing to do, to take these challenges, as Mrs. Ghina just mentioned, the challenges of the WFP, of other organizations, of institutions, of factories in Lebanon, SMEs, even universities, all challenges that we can capture in the agri-food sector. We are taking these challenges, formulating it, and after it, we will be launching our call for application for Batch 4 Agri-Tech to solve these exact challenges, or to innovate in this area. And this is particularly to shift the mindset from only focusing on the innovation itself to focusing on the opportunity to push for a smarter way of doing things and to push to solve the issues of availability of food, of nutrients in the food supply, of the accessibility of the stability of this food supply, the supply chain, the communication between the farmers and the market, all this kind of challenges that needs technology to do it smarter, we will be tackling this time.
All right, thank you. So you have outlined so many challenges that people can address and form businesses that are for profit, and they can have a positive social impact on the Lebanese society and the MENA populations at large. So for anyone who is interested in launching his or her own startup, you can start by applying for Agri-Tech Batch 4 that will start in early January, and you can maybe have the place of Fidel in one of our sessions by end of 2021. On that note, I want to thank all of our panelists. I will have final words starting with Fidel.
As a final word for all people attending this interesting discussion, and everyone who is looking to launch a new business, as you mentioned, Zahi, don't be afraid. The times are tough, but this is the right time for us to act. So explore your abilities, your skills, and be part of a program that is really amazing, and the support is high, and the mentors, the coaches, everyone in the team was amazing. So so don't hesitate. And regarding our topic for this discussion, thank you, Berytech, for this initiative, and this is highly needed, especially during these times. The food security is a high interest topic, so we need to act on so many levels.
Thank you, Ms. Rina.
Okay, so thank you for this opportunity. I just want to say that I think this is a very difficult time for everyone, and we are seeing challenges that are, I mean, no one has seen like before, and then these challenges, we are looking up to these people, these new generation, the tech people, for solution, because I think there are a lot of missed opportunity despite this mess, and I think this is a very good opportunity to exchange these challenges, and then maybe we can, I mean, maybe there is a way, maybe a solution can be found. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Professor Makram.
Thank you, Mr. Zahi, and thank you for Berytech for this interesting webinar with all the colleagues. I would like to mention 2 points. The first one is that the central bank is doing its job and the responsibilities, and hoping that with the cooperation with the new government, we are going to have new projects, hopefully in Lebanon, fresh money coming in. It may take some time, but we are hoping this. I think this is the second point, is that there is now an opportunity for entrepreneurs in the agri-food industry. Now brands and exported products are expensive. If we make local production without a lot of innovation and technology, with basic needs of the people, as it was mentioned during this session, we can, with the wages and salaries of local employees, of Lebanese employees, is like 4 times less than before in USD. So we have a competitive advantage, and we can enrich our market and provide our market with local products at low cost and affordable, and at the same time with acceptable or with good quality and high safety standards. So let's hope, and I want to mention here, I used to eat Nutella, for example. Now we're buying the Gardenia chocolate. It's fine. It tastes good. So we should encourage also our local producers. Anyway, most of us aren't able anymore to purchase the same products they were able to buy few months ago or 1 year ago. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you. Last but definitely not least, Soha.
I want to second and encourage people having disruptive ideas, business models, any innovative idea to join our, to speak up and join our next agri-tech batch and help us in this venture, because the country needs us and the situation is really challenging. Thank you.
Thank you. On that note, I want to thank all of our attendees and our panelists. Our next session will be next Thursday, same timing from 6 till 7:30. Stay tuned on our social media platforms for the registration links and all the details of next week's session. Again, I want to thank each and every one of our panelists, and I want to wish you all a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good evening.